Hey everybody, Jeremiah Davis and Mark Morehouse with the Cedar Rapids Gazette, back again this week with our 3 and Out. Let's get right to it, Mark. The first things first, the punch for Iowa this week, especially on offense, Akram Wadley and LaShawn Daniels.
We're fine just keeping this thing low-keyed right now, but I think both of them are really having good years, and they're both playing well. And, LaShawn's a senior. You really hope for that and expect that from your oldest players. And the big thing, he's been healthy. He's staying healthy and really doing a good job. But he's improved, too. He really works at it hard. And I'd say the same thing about Akram. He's really, I think, growing a lot in this past 15, 14 months. And I think he's really made some nice strides. And, it's still out there for him. He can still get better. So can LaShawn, so that's good. But they both work at it really hard, and they both like football.
I think that, the quick example, or the quick way to describe them is thunder and lightning. Of course, one's 225 pounds. The other one's $180, and there's a bone of contention there with Ferentz and with Akram Wadley. But I think the way Iowa does running back, there's no difference in what they ask each guy to do.
Right.
They maybe shade things a little bit to try to get Akram in space, but for the most part, he runs between the tackles, just like LaShawn Daniels. And LaShawn Daniels is able to run on the outside. They call outside zones for LaShawn, and he hits those. Last week was it was an outside zone that he took for 67 yards. Of course, I preface everything this week in that Purdue is not Wisconsin.
Right.
Wisconsin is not Purdue.
Right.
But I think the running backs right now give Iowa's best chance. Those two are Iowa's best offensive weapon going into the meat of the schedule. If they were going to make a push for the Big Ten West, it's going to be those guys are going to have a say in it.
The other best punch to this point had been George Kittle, but
you said earlier it would be kind of unrealistic maybe to expect George to play. I think you said that like 11:40 something. Is that?
Did I say that today?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll tone that down a little bit. I don't want to be Dr. Doom here. I think he's got a chance, but I don't know. One thing, I think I said this, but they were concerned on Saturday. There might be a fracture. I mean, that was word given to me during the game. They did whatever they call it, a fluoro or something like that. The kind of a half-baked X-ray. I mean, it's an X-ray, but it's not like going over to the hospital. That was good, and since that time, he's had MRI X-rays, and the specialists have looked at it and said everything's good. So it really just depends on what he can do, how he can progress in the next couple days' time, and we're not going to rule him out, but it's probably a long shot. I don't want to lead anybody's hopes. Right now, we got to prepare. Anytime a guy's hurt, you got to prepare like he's not going to be there. But if he can play, we'll play him. I mean, we've done that before. That's not unheard of.
Kittle's status is still up in the air, much like some other guys we'll get to in a minute. How much was this going to swing what Iowa does, whether or not he plays?
It's they haven't run a lot of offense through George this year, but he is a tremendous blocker. So Wisconsin happens to have 8 million hybrid linebacker types.
Approximately.
T.J. Watt, Jack Chichi. I'm forgetting about the best. Vince Beagle I'm not sure if he's back this week or not.
Right.
I think he was on the depth chart. But Wisconsin seemingly has built its defense around those guys.
Right.
And those guys are really good football players. The two, even if it's just Chichi and T.J. Watt, those are two pretty good guys, two pretty good, great places to build. You need a tight end to block that. This week it looks like Peter Peeker is probably the guy for Iowa. You're probably looking at Noah Fant.
Noah Fant and Peter Peeker are good players, but they're not George Kittle.
No.
They're not there yet, and so
Right.
that's why this is a big deal.
It is a big deal, and also Kittle is he's one of those guys who's kind of woven into this program. He's in his 5th year, very vocal guy, a leader type, sort of a blaster. Takes care of his job, and people feed off of that. You need that against Wisconsin. You really do. You need his obviously skill sets. I don't know how they're going to work around it. I mean, if he's not able to play, and it looks like it's a sprained foot. They thought it was broke. I saw him on the sideline. He came back and he did a couple of get-outs. He got in his stance and hit, I want to say Peeker. He came out of his stance and hit Peeker a few times. Never did go back in. So let's put him at probably doubtful.
Yep.
And maybe by Friday they change things. I think the reason why Ferentz says one thing and then says it again is because they're hopeful he plays. That's what they're working with right now.
Sure.
It's all they kind of got right now with some of these health guys. Kittle, I would say right now, is hopeful, doubtful.
Sure. Yeah,
That
that
makes
sounds
sense.
right. That sounds right. Our third thing, more injury stuff. offensive line. Getting back to the best punch Iowa has
Right.
in those running backs. Well, if the offensive line is going to probably look different again this week for the third or fourth straight week. Boone Myers was listed on the depth chart, but Kirk Ferentz said today that Cole Crossan actually probably has a better chance of playing than
Who
Boone
wasn't on the
Myers,
depth chart.
who wasn't, and Cole Crossan wasn't on the depth chart. So who knows?
Yeah, I think we got a chance with Cole, and then Boone, we'll have to see how the week goes. But, I think they both got a shot. We'll see where it is. If we were playing games, which we are Saturday, it would probably look like it looked Saturday, this past Saturday, to start with. But, hopefully we got 3 guys that have played tackle so far. It's kind of like last year. Hopefully we can have 2 of the 3. I'm not going to be greedy. If we could just get 2 of the 3, that'd be a great starting point.
With those 2 guys specifically, Cole Crossan and Boone Myers, what is it nebulous as well? Do we have any better look at what they're going to be, or where their availability is going to be? Or is it similar to Kittle?
No, I have no. I think they're hopeful, doubtful, hopeful.
Right.
I'll put Myers in doubtful, hopeful after what Ferentz
Right.
said today, and I'll put Cole Crossan in maybe.
Right.
That's about as good as it gets right now. I think that what it comes down to is this: the number of players that Ferentz feels comfortable with playing tackle.
Right.
Right now, there's one for sure that we know is playing Saturday, and that's Ike Butker.
Right.
He can't play both. So Cole Crossan, they got to get one, or I think, in my opinion, they have to get Crossan or Myers ready for Saturday. If not, they have to get really creative. Could that mean Sean Welsh at tackle? He's done that. He's Iowa's best lineman, in my opinion. Maybe he could slide out there. Maybe Levi Paulson comes in and plays guard. It could look really different, but that's really the concern right now, the number of tackles available. And it looks like right now on Tuesday at 3 o'clock, it's 1.
Well, 11 a.m. kick, Iowa versus number 10 Wisconsin, ESPN. We'll see you there.